For the people who work numbers, I am giving you free advice that those of you who are holding dollars, you surely might go into losses. You better do what you must do, because this market is going to be different in a couple of weeks. And secondly, we, through the central bank, we are having conversations to reinstate the interbank exchange market that has since not worked.
We have reached agreement on the guiding principles, standards, criteria, and procedures of the BRICS expansion process, which has been in discussion for quite a while. We have consensus on the first phase of this expansion process, and other phases will follow. We have decided to invite the Argentine Republic, the Arab Republic of Egypt, the Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia, the Islamic Republic of Iran, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, and the United Arab Emirates to become full members of BRICS. The membership will take effect from the 1st of January 2024.
Leverage is over. I can't tell you who, but you know who, and I'll tell you after the call who. This week, two of these biggest bankers in all of America, okay, very well-known guys, we got on a call. They're the best team in that company. You know who they are. I called them after 6 months of back and forth. We're giving them some money. And I said, here's some money. I want you to look at and give me some options of investing into things right now. You know what his answer was? He says, we'll take the money and we'll put it in cash. And we're not buying anything right now because we believe that S&P is going to go to 35, and there may be a chance that S&P goes to 32. S&P today is around 39.88, around 4,000, okay? To go from 30, like 4,000 to 35, that's a 15% drop-off, okay? To go to 32, that's a 20-something percent drop-off, exactly 20% drop-off to go to 32. So these guys, all the big Wall Street guys, are all sitting around saying there's probably a very big, drop-off coming up here soon, the next few months.
So what happened this week? Well, these 14 agreements that Vladimir Putin signed with Xi Jinping are about trade, the economy, currency, about military exercises. The list is pretty much endless. New rail infrastructure, trade routes, etc. But to me, the biggest story was about settling oil transactions and making trade transactions settled with the Chinese currency, the yuan, okay, instead of U.S. dollars. The same thing happened in Saudi Arabia this week. Saudi Arabia discussing with China, Saudi Arabia talking with China about settling their oil transactions with the Chinese currency yuan. Okay, so that might not sound like much to the layperson, but when the petrodollar, the U.S. dollar, which is how all oil transactions are settled, now will be upended and removed, and oil will now be settled with the Chinese yuan, that is a game changer. Arguably the biggest story we've seen in decades.
The fact that oil has always been traded in dollars. If that were to end, that would mean the end of the U.S. dollar.
Why is that? The U.S. uses the dollar as a cudgel. It uses it as an axe. It uses it to put sanctions on other countries. Oh, we want you to do this. We want you to act a certain way, so we will use the U.S. dollar to sanction you. You want oil? Well, it's because it's the petrodollar. You want to settle your oil transactions? You have to do it in the U.S. dollar. You better listen to us with our sanctions.
The world's second largest economy and its largest energy exporter are together actively trying to dent the dollar's dominance as the anchor of the international financial system. Will they succeed? The dollar is America's last surviving superpower. It gives Washington unrivaled economic and political muscle. It can slap sanctions on countries unilaterally, which frees that country out of large parts of the world economy. and Washington can spend freely, certain that its debt will be bought up by the rest of the world.
You see here, Saudi Arabia's crown prince says he's no longer interested in pleasing the U.S. Malaysia, China to discuss Asian fund to cut U.S. dollar dependency. And Russia and India abandon Europe-dominated oil price, agree to use Dubai oil price benchmark. And take a listen to Julius Malema. He is a South African politician who is a member of parliament.
Putin is welcomed here, and no one is going to arrest Putin. If needs be, we'll go and fetch Putin from the airport to his meeting. He will finish all his meetings. We'll take him back to the airport. We're not going to be told by these hypocrites of the International Criminal Court who know the real violators of human rights, who know the murderers of this world. That former Prime Minister of Tony Blair admitted that they made a horrible mistake when it comes to Saddam Hussein. They've not been charged today. Bush is still there. They've not been charged till to date. And then Obama killed Gaddafi. And then nothing has happened. We're here today with Libya being destroyed and unable to recover because of America. We know very well that where NATO gets involved, those are terrorists. We know very well where the US says we're going in to install peace. That place will never know peace as long as America has visited that place. So we don't want ICC's hypocrisy to apply here.
Also, they never talk about the nature of this CBDC. What is it actually going to look like? They never talk about that. Right. But I heard one European central banker tell me what it's going to look like. He saw it. He was invited to one of the old central banks in Europe that are very much promoting this. And they showed him. And, you know, he's a top, executive director of another central bank in Europe. And there's no reason to believe that he was telling me a story. And he was around this large and would be implanted under your skin. So that is the plan.
Right.
And of course, that has other implications on top of what we've mentioned, on top of the control aspects, because that actually enters your body. In my view, violates human dignity, and can be then used for even in terms of functionality beyond the monetary and economic transaction purposes. So highly dangerous and definitely something we have to oppose. And so using cash is one of the things we can do to make sure that the hurdle will be higher for the central planners to introduce the CBDC.
Now that's the
Governor Ron DeSantis chose Panama City to launch a campaign against the Biden administration's new digital currency proposal.
The plan, called the Central Bank Digital Currency, or CBDC, would be an electronic form of U.S. dollars. As News 13's Jay Coulter tells us, DeSantis is urging the state legislature to block the use of the digital currency in Florida if it's ever implemented.
This is protecting your autonomy. This is protecting your freedom to make decisions.
Governor Ron DeSantis took aim at a new currency the Biden administration is exploring.
Are you interested in giving these economic central planners more power over our economy, more power over your daily life and your economic activity? And I answer that question, double hockey sticks. No, we cannot have that happening.
Last year, President Biden signed an executive order that could set the stage for a new national digital currency. But DeSantis says this method of financial transactions could be dangerous.
Cash is king. I mean, if you can hold it in your hand, you have power over that. The minute it's all digitized, somebody else is going to have control over that. And it's just a question of, are they going to let you live your life? Or are they going to decide to do things to circumvent what you want to do?
The Biden administration touts the idea as environmentally sustainable and a way to increase access to consumers who lack the means to join a traditional bank. DeSantis says this central bank digital currency would be an overreach.
Any way they can get into society to exercise their agenda, they will do it. So what the central bank digital currency is all about is surveilling Americans and controlling behavior of Americans.
DeSantis asked the Florida legislature to pass a preemptive block of the plan.
Today, I'm here to call on the legislature to pass legislation to expressly forbid the use of CBDC as money within Florida's Uniform Commercial Code. This will ensure that Florida continues to be a state that supports innovation in the financial sector through the market while protecting against government surveillance over your personal finances.
In Panama City, Jay Coulter, News 13, Panhandle Strong.
DeSantis also wants the legislature to forbid any worldwide digital currency that may evolve, and he's calling on other states to pass the same type of restrictions.